What's up, Dunk Squad? It's Wayne Duncan, No Vision Duncan, and we're here with Madden 23 franchise mode. We're going to be doing a quick run through it, not our normal realistic rebuilds, just to get a good feel for the game. So that way, once we do start our realistic rebuilds, we're not stuck on stupid, looking crazy, not knowing what the hell we're doing. We want to know what we're getting ourselves into. I'm going to quickly simulate the season. That way we can get to free agency so we can check out all the new free agency stuff. We're going to look at the player tags, player motivation, see how all that works out. Once we get to the draft, I want to see if the draft logic works out. Teams aren't drafting quarterbacks when they already have franchise quarterbacks on their rosters and all that good stuff. And we're going to be controlling the Chiefs. They were one of the juggernauts of Madden 22. And with that all being said, let's waste no more time and let's get right into it. First thing I want to do, though, is check out the roster and click on somebody like Patrick Mahomes. That way we can see. Okay, it just went to the motivation stuff, and I clicked X and skipped over. So here it is. When you go over, pressing R1, L1 if you're on PS5, they have motivation. So as you see, Super Bowl chase, you have top the depth chart, and you have close to home. So you know Patrick Mahomes played college in Texas. So I guess Kansas City is kind of close to Texas. And then his player tag is franchise quarterback. So franchise quarterbacks will not be replaced by their team until later in their career. That means if this was the CPU controlling the Kansas City Chiefs, they should not be drafting a quarterback in the first round. Hell, if you got Patrick Mahomes in your roster, you should not be drafting a quarterback in the first round, period, anyway. So I hope that player tag actually affects the AI and they actually follow the player tag and not draft quarterback. So that's cool to see the motivation in the player tags. I do hope that it actually works and it's just not there for decoration. Speaking of decoration, I'm actually liking and digging the background. You know, it actually suits whatever team you're doing. It has the team logo, has one of the team colors in the background. So I am digging that a lot. And let's simulate the preseason real quick. So get on ahead to the regular season. We're not going to be doing it week by week how we normally would do like the realistic rebuild. Just trying to get through, check out all the new features. That's all we're worried about right now. And the draft class will just auto-generate it for right now. And we also want to see how the scouting works out too. Like it should be showing like for the quarterback, we should be getting those important like ratings for like the throw accuracy, the short, medium. But we shouldn't be getting like, you know, for a quarterback, we shouldn't be getting the trucking and, you know, stuff that doesn't really pertain to that position. We should be getting the top 4 important skills that we need to know, you know, for that position. And I hope that new feature works out the way it should too. But let's simulate the regular season, or we'll simulate to midway through the season, because I forgot about the contracts. They should have new contracts where you can do like a low end, high end, player friendly, team friendly. I want to see how all that works. They even have like preset contract offers that you can offer. All right, so I want to click on the mock draft too real quick just to see if it looks the same as last season or last game I meant, and it actually still kind of does. Hopefully it doesn't, like when mock draft 5 comes out, I hope that the draft doesn't exactly go. Usually Madden 22, when you get to that mock draft 5, the draft usually goes exactly the same as mock draft 5 is set up. So I hope it's like a little bit different, doesn't follow, you know, exactly the same way. Maybe the first couple of picks is the same picks, and then like once you get like pick 5, you know, it should be unpredictable at that point. But let's look at these contracts just to see how it's set up. So we go to players ready to negotiate. We have to negotiate with Juju. All right, so start negotiations. I do see that he wants over 3 years, 17.8 mil, total 27.3 mil, signing bonus 9.45. But let's start the negotiations. And let's see. It says manually adjust your contract offer or use the new presets to quickly craft the best deal for every player at every interest level. Okay, so player tags, development trait, and depth chart information help determine the importance and role each player has for your team. So We have neutral, which is a medium risk. It's close to market value. That's a plus. And then a minus would be the player may not accept. We can go over and do a player friendly. It's a low risk. The plus of that is the player will like this offer. The negative would be the player may accept less. And then we have very player friendly, where it's a very low risk. You get very high acceptance chance, but the negative to that would be overpaying for the player. You have a custom offer that you can just go in and set up yourself, and you have a team friendly, which is higher risk, where it's great for cap space, save you money, but the player is unlikely to accept. So you have about 5 different options there. I do like this feature a lot. If you want to, quickly just offer a contract, you can just pick one of these. But if you want to go in and actually customize it on your own, you can do that as well. So I do like this feature a lot. Just for this video, though, we're just going to keep it, let's see, Juju, I'm going to say team-friendly deal since we are the Chiefs. So let's make him that offer and see. Let's see. I feel like this offer is a joke. I expect something real next time. So Juju not filling that contract offer, but I just wanted to see how that worked out. We're not going to negotiate with nobody else. We're just going to simulate to the rest of simulate the regular season and get to the playoffs. So the next thing we can look at is the stats and the awards. I want to see how, the stats and the awards, how they affect dev traits. Do rookies of the year actually get rewarded for that? And they go from like a normal to a star dev, or from like a star to a superstar to superstar X Factor, and things like that. We did make the playoffs, 11-6. That's good to see. Chiefs still being juggernauts. But let's look at the stats real quick. So let's see, Patrick Mahomes threw for almost 5,000 yards, 31 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. So not 5,000 yards that you would see in, Madden 22. He was like 27 yards short, so still right there, but not too crazy. 31 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, not like the 50, 60 plus touchdowns you would normally see in Madden 22. So I do like that. The running game was kind of non-existent, but it's the Chiefs. They throw the ball a lot. Let's look at the receivers. So we had Travis Kelce went crazy, $118, 1,400 yards, and 10 touchdowns. I did want to see if the tight end 2 got more touches, and maybe like wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5. That's something I would like to see in future installments, because in real life you use more than just 3 wide receivers. Used by the whole damn depth chart when it comes to wide receivers, and a lot of teams do 2 tight end sets. So that's another thing me personally I would like to see, because I love using 2 tight ends and 4 wide receivers, 5 wide receivers even sometimes, instead of just 3 wide receivers and 1 tight end. But Travis Kelce took over, a lot of catches, a lot of yards, a lot of touchdowns. McCole Hardman had 1,000 yards, 1 yard shot for Juju Smith. MVS 788, 5 touchdowns. So it looks just about the same as Madden 22. Looking at the offensive lineman, this is another thing that I've been wanting back, is that's the pancake stat. It's good to see how many sacks the offensive lineman has given up, but I would also like to see, the pancake stats, the pancake blocks for the offensive lineman too. But let's see, the left tackle and the right tackle still probably give up the most sacks. So we have 11 for Jerron Christian Sr. We have 6 for Orlando Brown, 3 for Creed Humphrey, 2 for Joe Thuney, and 1 for Trey Smith. I hope that the awards doesn't just go to the highest rated overall offensive lineman throughout the league. I actually hope it follows, if Trey Smith only gave up 1 sack all season, he should be up there as one of the best offensive linemen in the league for that season, instead of just giving it to, Quentin Nelson just because he's a 99 overall or something like that. Defense, looking at the tackles, Nick Bowen had 121, 3 TFLs, 2 sacks, 1 interception. Willie Gay, 83, 8 TFLs. Let's look at the sacks. We had 8 for Chris Jones, 7 for Frank Clark, 6 for Carlos Dunlap, 4.5 for Derek Nottie. So not a lot of pressure on the quarterback. Looking at the TFLs, we had a couple of guys in double digits, Chris Jones, Carlos Dunlap, and Derek Nottie. Looking at the interceptions, bunch of 1 bombs, 5 interceptions in total for the team. Justin Reed, Willie Gay, Nick Bolton, Brian Cook, and Juan Thornhill. Looking at the kicking for the field goal kickers, only 3 missed field goals for Harrison Bucker, 82%, longest 55-yard. 1 field goal block made all his extra pointers, punting inside. None of this really matters. Just wanted to see how the, simulated stats, how they look. Looking at the yearly awards, MVP goes to Tom Brady. Okay, you got Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Burrow, Sam Darnold. Okay, I mean, to the Giants. Don't know if he got like cut in preseason by the Panthers and then they signed him, or he was actually traded. I would like to see more trades between, CPU, more interaction with the AI with each other, trading. But Sam Darnold up there, number 5 on the Giants. Okay, Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers. So Deshaun Watson, all quarterbacks. It is a quarterback friendly award. And then Coach of the Year, Doug Peterson on the Jaguars. Seems like it's the same for Madden 22, but it's not Urban Meyer anymore. It's Doug Peterson. Peter Gaffney is the new Bill Belichick. And then you got a couple of coaches there. Let's look at AFC Offensive Player of the Year because we are the Chiefs, so they're in the AFC. Got Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon, so a bunch of running backs at the top of the list. Eagles Player of the Year. I want to see if we have an award. When George Pickens wins Offensive Rookie of the Year. Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Devin Lloyd of the Jaguars. I do see Trent McDuffie here for us at number 6. Brian Cook at number 9. Best QB, Justin Herbert. Patrick Mahomes at number 5. Running back goes to Jonathan Taylor. Receiver, Jamar Chase. And we don't have no award winner. Okay, so offensive lineman. Kevin Zeitler won it. He's only at 85 overall now. The Ravens finished 8-9. Nate Davis, Billy Price as a 70 overall. Okay, so I do see a difference. Usually it would be the offensive lineman with the highest overall. So you see like a Quentin Nelson, Teron Arstead, Ryan Ramczyk, David Bakhtiari, names like that. But once I saw like Nate Davis at a 79, and the Titans only finished at 9-8, Kevin Zeitler at 85, Ravens only finished 89, and then this one right here, Billy Price at a 70 overall. Even though the Jaguars did finish 12-5, he's mentioned as one of the best offensive linemen in the AFC for this season. That lets me know that they did go in there and it actually works. The offensive linemen get, valued on their play through the season and how well they did and how many stats they given up. Billy Price coming to number 3. I love that a lot. Darrell Williams, 78 overall. Brandon Scherf, okay. But where is, I was going to say, where are the Chiefs? Because Trey Smith only gave up one damn stack all season, but him and Joe Thuney get noticed at 8 and 9. So yeah, I do like the new offensive line thing. Now I need to check out, like Kevin Zeitler to see if he goes up to a dev trade. I think he is a star. So let's see if he goes up to a superstar dev. But I do like that for the offensive line and getting some respect. Offensive line matters. Von Miller as the D lineman of the year. Then you got linebacker Khalil Mack. DB goes to Christian Fulton. The best kicker goes to Nick Folk. Okay, Harrison Butker at number 8. So need to check out. At the end of the year, we'll check out to see if any dev trade upgrades happen for not only us, but for the Ravens, Kevin Zeitler, offensive lineman, see if he actually goes up. Let's just go straight to the Super Bowl week. And I skipped the Pro Bowl. That's okay. But the Super Bowl is the Chargers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So we know the Bucs usually get there. Nice to see the Chargers there too. But let's go to the adjust lineup. I don't remember everybody's dev traits, but I do want to see if anybody went up after this season for us. I don't really see. We had a couple of offensive lines. I know Trey Smith, he probably already was a star. Joe Thuney was already a star, so I don't think they went up dev traits. I don't see anybody on the offense that went up. And then on the defensive side, I don't see anybody that went up. I don't know if Willie Gay might have went up to a star dev. Yeah, he did go up to a star dev trait. But I want to look at the offensive lineman. To see if Kevin Zeitler went up because he did win Offensive Lineman of the Year for the AFC on the Ravens. So let's see if he actually went up dev trait. All right, so he did not go up dev trait. Actually, he did go up dev trait. He did go up dev trait. So Kevin Zeitler must have been a normal dev, but he does go up 2-star dev. So I do like to see that. Winning offensive lineman of the year actually does get you a new dev trait. So the offensive lineman, like I said before, getting some respect. But let's simulate the Super Bowl and get on to the biggest addition to the Madden 23 franchise mode, and that is the new free agency. As the Bucks beat the Chiefs, or the Bucks beat the Chargers in the Super Bowl 24-21. We're not going to make any contract offers. Just going to get straight to the offseason, the free agency, to look at all the new free agency stuff that they added in the game. Not worry about the mock draft, not worry about the retirements, the contract negotiations. Let's get straight to the free agency, see how crazy it is.
View a player's motivation.
All right, so player motivations factor into how willing they are to sign with your team. Displayed in order of importance, they result in a positive, negative, or neutral status. You got the different motivations as like big market. So Kansas City is not that big of a market. You got warm weather state, Missouri. That's yellow, right in the middle. Head coach, historic record. You already know Andy Reid is a Hall of Fame coach, so that's up. That's in the green. And then interest in your team is low right now. Don't know what player we're locked on right now. Motivations are combined to form a player's interest in your team. A better contract deal will be needed to persuade a player with low interest. A player may take a pay cut if their interest is high enough. Adjust your offers accordingly. Active negotiations limit the number of players a team can make and offer to during each stage of free agency. The total number of active negotiations will increase at each stage. Eval periods allow for contract offers to be signed without having to advance a free agency stage when triggered. A commissioner of a franchise may trigger these at any time, evaluating all current offers for all players. All right, so we look at Derwin James, right? His interest bar is all the way down in the red. That's because, let's see, big market, Kansas City, that's in the red. Warm weather state is yellow. Hey, coach. All right, so we must have been looking at Derwin James when we were reading the motivations. It must have been locked on him. If we go down to like a Terry McLaurin, his motivation is he wants a team that has a franchise quarterback. We have that in Patrick Mahomes, so his is all the way up in the green. We have a head coach with a historic record in Andy Reid. That's why that's in the green. He also has a motivation of Super Bowl chase. The Chiefs are a Super Bowl playoff contender every year. That's why it's in the green. So he has a strong interest in signing to our team. If we go down to somebody like Odell cares about playing in a bigger market. Like I said, Kansas City is not a big market. Top of the depth chart. He wants to be at top of the depth chart. We don't have any receivers right now after they traded Tyreek Hill to the Miami Dolphins. So he would be at top of the depth chart if we were to sign him. I think we also lost Juju Smith-Schuster when we tried to offer him a contract. He didn't come back, so we need wide receiver depth on the team. And then historical championships. You know, the Chiefs have won a couple of Super Bowls. They've been in a couple of Super Bowls that they could have won. But the interest in this team is red. So I guess the red, the green, and yellow all equal red. It kind of doesn't make any sense. Well, it kind of does. The red bar for the big market is bigger than the top of the depth chart and bigger than the historical championship, so I guess it does make sense. Go down to Mike Gesicki. His is in the green. So you see every player has different motivations, and it affects, you know, if you can sign them, the interest in your team or not. But we're not going to make any contract. I was just going straight to the draft. Actually, we're going to simulate 1 week and go to the second stage because you can actually sign players before you advance to the second stage. That's what it was trying to say in the little tutorial. And then we're going to look at mock draft 5 to see, you know, if mock draft 5 is going to be how the draft works out. Fifth year option, not worry about that. Let's simulate to free agency recap just to see where everybody signed. So mock draft 5. Let's see. Seahawks. Okay, they're a team that needs a quarterback. Steelers need offensive linemen. Giants, I mean, they could go quarterback because they could give up on Daniel Jones. So I don't see any teams that have franchise quarterbacks drafting quarterbacks or mock to draft a quarterback. I mean, you got the Packers at 28. They could. You got Aaron Rodgers. If they don't want to go at Jordan Love, I guess you could say that would make sense. So it's not too crazy. You just see like a bunch of quarterbacks. Hell, I don't even know if this draft class just might be, you know, weak when it comes to the quarterbacks. They don't have a lot of top 5, top round 1 quarterback prospects to begin with. Let's look though. Quarterbacks. Yeah, so they don't have 2 top 5 dudes, and then they have 1 first or second round dude. His name is Steve Nash. Steve Nash is in the draft. But don't see a lot of teams that have franchise quarterbacks drafting quarterbacks, so that's good. Let's get a free agency recap. As Derwin James signed with the Eagles, Terry McLaurin signed with the Bears, Odell, nobody signed him. Still in the free agent, Mike Gesicki and Josh Allen to the Eagles. So the Eagles spending a lot of money getting 3 of the top free agents. You got Jamil Dean to the Steelers, Dawson Knox to the Texans, Elton Jenkins to the Cardinals. Okay, so it looks like free agency is going to be, more, harder as it should be. You won't be able to get every single player that you make a contract offer to. It's not all about offering the biggest contract and the most money. So I actually do like that. And let's go to the draft and let's see how the draft works out. See if it follows the mock draft. It says the Seahawks were going to take a quarterback. Let's see if that does happen in the draft.
Next up, it's the Seahawks on the clock. It's the Steelers.
Okay, so they do take a quarterback. Now, I don't remember how the mock went. I think the Steelers went left tackle.
The Chicago Bears.
Okay, so the Steelers do go left tackle. The Bears go tight end. I think so. So far, it's following the mock.
Now on the clock.
And I hope that's not the case. Okay, so the Giants went quarterback. Now, if I remember correctly, it was like the Giants went quarterback, but wasn't it like around 20-something? It might have been the Green Bay Packers I'm thinking about. But let's go to them at pick 21 to see. I wish this was a draft class where they had a bunch of quarterbacks. See if these teams, like if the Seahawks took 2 quarterbacks, or if the Ravens take a quarterback and they still have Lamar Jackson on the roster or something like that. But not going to get the chance to see that because there's only 2 top quarterbacks in this draft class, and they already went. The third one, the first and second round dude, it said it was mocked to go to Green Bay. So let's see if that happens.
It's the Philadelphia Eagles now on the clock. With the next pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars are on the clock.
And just for the hell of it, we are going to pick somebody randomly with our pick just to make a selection, just to see if we can, just to see if we still have our crown, see if we're still the draft king. We're the Chiefs. I didn't really look at the roster because we didn't bring anybody back. We didn't sign anybody, get anybody an extension. But if I know the Chiefs rosters and their weaknesses and what they need, I would go something on defense, and I would take maybe a defensive end. I mean, they drafted George Karlaftis this past draft, but let's take and you see there on the side, you do have the block shedding, the finesse moves, the power moves, the tackling. It's not showing the throw power and stuff like that, stuff that wouldn't make, wouldn't help you out with any scouting. It's giving you the important stats for that position. So it should make it a little bit easier to draft. Let's look at receivers. Look at receivers real quick. Also makes it easier so you don't have to click into every single player just to see who is worth drafting or not. Let's take this running back right here, this power back, Keith Easley. Hidden Dev. Still the DraftKings stud finder too. We got a trophy for it. Hopefully it's like a superstar dev. Another thing, too, there are going to be some players that are generational talents, like generational X factors, and you'll only find them once in every, 10 seasons or something like that. So we may have to, even do longer than 5-year rebuilds just to see how many generational rookie X factor players that we can actually get in the draft. That is a thing that exists in the game, too, so... let's go to the end of the draft, or the Packers are actually up next. Let's see if they do draft that quarterback, and they don't. So it did not follow the mock exactly. Maybe at the top of the draft it did, but I remember the Packers were projected to take a quarterback, and they didn't. They went left in instead, out of Wisconsin too. So that's actually good. And no, let's go to the end of the draft. And let's see how we did. we only made one pick and we simulated the rest. So we took that running back who was a hidden dev player. They got a free safety with the second pick. He's a 73 overall normal. Well, that's good. That's a hell of a pick. And they got a 65 left outside linebacker. He is also a normal dev. They took a defensive tackle, 64 overall. He was a normal dev. Left tackle, 63. They also took a right tackle. That's a 64, I believe. 64. They got 66 left guard in the 6th round. That's great value. Center, 66 in the 6th round. That's great value. They got a running back, Otis Duval, and they got defensive tackle, 63 overall. Let's look at the top player in the draft. And I do see an 80 overall tight end. I know he might be one of those generational players I was talking about because I swear I never saw like an 80 overall tight end. You usually see like an 80 overall running back or sometimes like a free safety or something like that. But an 80 overall tight end.
This player's development trait is hidden.
I gotta, we're not gonna be simulating next season or playing the next season anyway. So I am gonna look at his dev trait. And he is a superstar X Factor, so I might have talked it up. He could be one of those generational talent players where he's going to be like a 99 overall going into his sophomore season in the league. So he looks like one of those generational players that I was talking about. I hope that is the case. The Bears got them one hell of a tight end. Let's look at the player that we took, the hidden dev running back, just to see what his dev trait is. I'm thinking probably star, but we did get a trophy that said stud, so he could be like a superstar dev. You never know. And he actually was a star dev, so he's got a star dev running back in the 1st round. But that tight end for the Bears, generational talent player right there. But loving the new features. It does feel almost the same as Madden 22, like as a whole when you simulate. But we just got to do more of it, and we will do. Oh, there goes the kick out shit. I was hoping they got rid of that, but I hope they fix that too. But I do like the new features, the new contract offers that you can offer the players, the new free agency pool. The draft logic seems fixed. I do hope that in the future we get like more trade slots. There was a rumor about that. Don't know if it's going to be true or not. I hope that teams don't draft quarterbacks and they, that kind of ruins the immersion when you're doing these franchises. But overall, it looks fun so far. I do like the new, attention, focus on the offensive lineman. Actually the awards given to the best offensive lineman that year when it comes to giving up sacks and not just given to the best overall offensive lineman every single year. So that does make a difference. But that'll wrap it up for this little walkthrough for the Madden 23 franchise mode. Until we start our realistic rebuilds, I'm out of here. I'm gone. Peace out. Dunk Squad.